Welcome to A Sip with Whiskey and Sweet Tea, the short show where we play games and sip on topics.
Sip, sip.
Today's topic, the trailer for Unsolved Mysteries, now streaming on Netflix. So we have both watched the trailer, and I was kind of disappointed by it. It doesn't seem like it'll have the magic of the original. What about you? What are your first thoughts?
It looks very generic.
That's what I was going to say.
It looks a lot better produced, but that's the thing. It's like it's been decades since the original show, so that's to be expected. But it looks like any other show on Investigation Discovery Channel.
Yeah.
Like if they weren't playing the little bits of the original theme in the background, it could have been any show.
And just from what I know from their press release, they said there's not going to be a host, which was like a trademark of the original. Obviously Robert Stack's dead, so he can't come back. But he really added, they could have found somebody, even Jordan Peele would have been cool to have done that.
That would have been a neat one.
So we're missing that, and then also looking at they show an episode list at the end of the trailer. If that's the episode list and not the segment list, it appears they're only going to do
6 episodes.
Well, that and only one mystery per episode.
Which, again, it's hard to really say like until the show comes out, because I'm guessing, especially with Tiger King and everything that's come out, I feel like Netflix, they're using the name, but it's not going to be the same kind of show. I think it's going to be a lot like more high, like the production value in the show is going to be really high. It's going to be much more like overproduced and everything like that. I am not the same level of a fan as you are with this show, but there was a cheesy charm to it. It's the sort of show that if you were to watch it now, even though, I guess some of the episodes probably still have some unsolved mysteries.
Oh, there's a lot of them. It's solved, I think it's a 1 out of every 4 mysteries.
Well, we were talking about, so they would do stuff like with paranormal UFO sightings, and it seems like with this show, they're just sticking straight to police stuff, and I think that's not a bad idea, but I think it's also like Netflix already has things like Making a Murderer and other shows that already kind of set this apart. Yeah, and so far it just seems really generic. I know you had a much more visceral reaction.
Yeah, actually,
but I think my reaction might even be a little bit worse, because I'd say passion is a good sign, even if it's passionate hatred for something.
Yeah.
For me, it's just utter apathy.
Yeah.
I could care less.
Like,
and I think that
definition of meh.
It would be better for me to hate it as much as you do.
Yeah.
Because then I would want to hate watch it. But if it's just utter indifference, like as a reaction, I feel like that's probably a bigger warning sign, because I feel like more, and that too, like especially when you're marketing something, you're kind of wanting to shoot for the middle. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you want to please longtime fans, but I guess I'm kind of the stand-in here for their because I don't care either way. I do like the old show, but I'm not really a big fan. But when you show me that trailer, all I see is, oh look, another crime show. And again, it reminds me of anything you could have seen on Investigation Discovery. It could be it could be Southern Fried Homicide. Who knows? Like
that is a guilty pleasure of mine.
It's a great show.
It's not the best show, but it's pretty enjoyable.
It wishes it could be Southern Fried Homicide,
right?
Or Who the Bleep Did I Marry? There's so many. I do like crime shows, but I'm not as diehard of a fan. But I think most people. And again, this is, you guys can always comment and yell at me, calling me wrong or something. But I feel like your average Joe is probably going to react like me, like cool.
It's like the thing about the reason to reboot a property is really because you either one are a fan of it yourself, or two, you want to create a property that already has a built-in fan base with it. And when you're creating a show that appears to just be another generic show and has very little to do with the actual show itself, that's something that I think they're going to have a problem with. They've talked about they've only announced 6 episodes. They've said, oh, we're going to do more in the future. But from looking at what we've seen so far, like Whiskey said, it's very generic. It looks like any Investigation Discovery show. And especially if they're doing only one mystery per episode.
And
that
6 episodes
and
is
only
pretty bad.
and again, just in just six. So in knowing Netflix, there'll probably be 6 1-hour episodes. And the problem that I have with that is when people watch Unsolved Mysteries for like I watch, basically everything on there. I have my favorite types of segments. Like my least favorite is Lost Loves. Sorry, but I'm like, I don't really care that you were looking for your mother for like 30 years. That sounds really bad. I'm so sorry. But that's not the story that interests me, although that is one of the ones that got solved most times. However, there were different stories, different people. They had crime. They had paranormal. They had legends. They had treasure. So if one particular segment didn't appeal to you that one time around, guess what? You wait like 10 minutes and we'll have a new story. And
that is true. The bite-sized kind of size of these stories was... Because that's the thing. One episode, it was like several segments. Like you'd have like... there's 6 episodes in the show. There's 6 segments an episode in the original show. Probably less than that. But and here's the other thing. Again, like going back to the whole I'm not a fan thing. From a marketing standpoint, here's a sad fact about fans, and I am guilty of this with things I am fans of.
Right.
Fans will watch something they think looks like garbage regardless. I'm pretty sure even though you hated what you saw,
probably watch
you are
it.
morbidly curious enough, you're going to want to see if it's as bad as you think. I've been like that with movie franchises and TV shows. Sometimes I'm wrong, sometimes I'm not. But the thing about fans is they're going to watch it even if they don't want to. Eventually, they're going to watch it. When you're marketing a new show or a show based on an old show or a remake or a reboot or whatever, like you should be trying to draw in the people who've never heard of the show.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get the fans no matter what. That's part of the safe bet of doing a reboot. But just to market something and just have it be so soulless, like that's the thing. Like, and again, this is coming from someone who isn't as big of a fan of the show. This felt very like it had no personality.
Yeah.
Again, you could take the trailer we saw and put in different music. No one, you would not be able to tell that it's supposed to be an Unsolved Mysteries reboot.
And that's at the end of the day is what I believe the problem with it. What the problem with it is one of the things that was really appealing about the original show is the idea that you could help solve a mystery, and while the segments were bite-sized, they gave you enough information to where you could be able to, if you knew anything more, you could say something, and you don't feel like you're just sitting there just reveling in what's going on. And I feel like an hour per one mystery, it's like they're trying to basically create a shock show. And then, but if you know anything, send us a text or something. I don't know. That's why I don't. That's one of my issues with the.
I'll kind of disagree with you there, because after Tiger King, there was so much craziness, like people getting themselves involved with that. Like the people wanting the FBI to reinvestigate like the Carol Baskins thing. I half agree, half disagree, because in the old show, it's like there was a hotline number, and I'm sure they're going to have a hotline number or something for this. But even with Netflix shows, people seem to insert themselves into the situation. So I think that element of the show will probably be the same. It just kind of depends, I guess. I think for me, there was sort of a cheesy charm to the old show. And like you said, there were different types of stories. There would be lost treasure. There'd be UFOs and stuff. And if you're like me and you enjoy watching something with a little bit of a cheesier tone, there you go. You could watch something about the ghosts or the UFOs or something. And that, again, goes back to what I said about it has no personality. Like, even if you thought the old... Like, if you took the hardline approach, the old show was really stupid, and I liked watching it because I thought it was stupid. Stupid's a personality.
Yeah.
This is just nothing. It's just...
Well, I will disagree. I did not think the original show was stupid. But I do see your point. It's like at least to you, it appeared to have something that set it apart.
I don't think it's stupid. I think it's cheesy. As I said, if I'm taking the stance of someone who really dislikes the show, but in my opinion, I just think it was a fun little late night watch.
I will admit it was like this show. It terrified me as a kid. When I was like 4 or 5, I would go and like spend Saturday mornings just chilling on the floor of my mom's room because we're not getting up yet. And we're just watching Lifetime or something. And sometimes I'll fall back asleep and she'll leave the TV on, but she'll go to get breakfast because Unsolved Mysteries always came on after The Nanny and The Golden Girls. I would see it in my dream, and my dream would become a nightmare. That's how terrifying.
That is interesting. It was on late at night for me, so like I remember watching it the most. I was also pretty young, and it was like on like the local Fox channel or something.
Yeah.
Like at like 9:00.
Yeah.
And, like little like 8-year-old me was probably with
I
a
will
blanket
say-
over my head. Like there was definitely a time when, and this always the true crime stuff was definitely chilling. It was just the tone. It was very cheesy. You gotta love the host walking around in his
trench coat.
duster, like with looking at the camera and doing all those different poses. Someone could make like a hilarious like YouTube compilation of him.
Actually,
just moving around.
there is a movie that did a parody of it with the actual guy. I'll show that to you later.
You should post it on our Twitter.
Actually, I really should. So that's just our thoughts. I'm probably going to check it out and not tell anybody.
I'll wait until T yells at me that it's really good or really bad,
And then he'll watch it
and
and
then
be
I'll
like,
have to
"You're
watch
an
it,
idiot."
and we'll have to review it on one of our future episodes. So I'm looking forward to it.
Unsolved Mysteries, now streaming on Netflix. Leave us a comment or tweet at us. Let us know your thoughts. Are you excited? Not excited? And we'll catch you in the next one. A Sip with Whiskey and Sweet Tea is a production of La Prince Laboratories. It is edited by Sophia Sabin with original artwork by Asa Sparza. Follow us on Twitter at the WAST Show and tweet at us with any topics or movies you'd like us to discuss in the future.